So if you're a target, there's virtually nothing you can do. Intelligence communities or agencies of the world are gaining too much influence over government, how governments operate. And this is moving really to a Stasi state, basically. And it's not just the United States, it's countries all around the world. You have to be aware that these agencies are threatening what is fundamental to human rights everywhere. And you've got to ensure that you have some way of verifying and keeping these agencies in line. And whatever it takes in law and whatever it takes technically to make that happen, these governments around the world, all of them need to do. I mean, in fact, I don't think there's anything you could do to stop. If they're after you, they're going to get you one way or the other. I mean, there are so many, if they can't get it through the internet, through the tapping of the lines or anything like that, through a commercial means, and they're unsure about you, they can get it by close access means, coming in and actually bugging your house or bugging your, or putting monitors in your system, in your house, or on your computer. They can use your computer video to look back at you. Or they can monitor within a certain distance the keystrokes you're making on your computer or what you're putting on your computer screen. And if that's not enough, they can come in through the firewall you think you have but don't, and go through your operating system that you think protects you but doesn't, and read your encrypted email that you thought was secure but isn't. Or they can simply wait for you to do decrypts if you've done that, pull them off, and use your unused CPU while you're on the computer to drain it. It's called active attack. So if you're a target, there's virtually nothing you can do. And if they fail in their electronic means, they can always send the FBI at you to do a sneak and peek and take your photograph or do whatever they want. As they have done with us, by the way.
So why should people resist?
I personally don't. I get out there right in their face and say to them what I think of them and what I believe they're doing from all the material I've got from the Snowden releases and everything else. So I mean, in fact, after I started doing that, Director Clapper came out and said no former or current employees of the intelligence communities are permitted to discuss any of the Snowden material. If they do, there's going to be administrative action. I guess my my frustration is why I couldn't get through to government, members of government in the House, Senate, or in the judiciary, or in the administration, or in the Inspector General's office, or anywhere, to actually start to realize what they were doing is stand up and say something against it openly. That was kind of the very frustrating part, because you thought these people who took the same oath of office that I did would actually do that, and you also thought that they would value the principles in the Constitution and what they stood for in terms of human rights and human freedom. But they don't apparently care for that. I mean, it's more it becomes an issue of money, control, and power. And it's not a question of human rights anymore. So that's been the most frustrating part for me. I'm disappointed in that. I'm really more disappointed in the American public that they aren't more irritated. I mean, they're starting to get there, but it's taking a long time. They aren't. I guess not too many remember history, or not too many think of history. Well, I can understand the fact that we haven't had a totalitarian ruler here since George III, so about 240 years. Whereas the Germans, the Germans are really sensitive to this stuff. Why? Because they've got living memory of people who used to live under the Stasi, or people who used to live under, still some of them, under the Gestapo and the SS. They know firsthand what a totalitarian state is like to live under. Our government could not just have a general writ, like the FISA court ordered with the Verizon transfer of data on 110 million plus U.S. citizens without being named or given probable cause or anything else. That was a general writ written by our FISA court that should be called into court by themselves and individually explain why they did that and what was the reason for it and their justification to do it. They need their day in court instead of doing everything in secret. They never come out and tell anybody what they're really doing or what their real understanding or secret interpretation is. That's because they're too afraid. They're cowards. They're hiding behind a secret interpretation applied with a secret court in secret by a secret government. They need their day in court instead of doing everything in secret.
NSA spying, how many laws are they breaking every day by doing this to us?
Well, I mean, if you don't count the unconstitutional laws they passed to try to make it legal, then they're violating the pen register law for a total of at least 280 million records a day. I mean, persons a day. So the pen register on 280 million plus people every day is being violated. And you can argue the same for the 150 million or so of people who are on the internet. Then you can also say the Electronic Privacy Act is being violated, the Electronic Security Act, all the FISA regulations that were governing telecommunications companies and any communications company, and all the laws that were behind all of that, plus, of course, all the constitutional amendments, 1st, 4th, and 5th at least. So, and I'm sure if you looked around, there could be any number of others they're doing too, including cover-up laws for covering crimes up, and they're doing that any number of times, day after day after day. You don't let them just add a name to a watch list or a kill list or anything else without knowing why they're there and who put them there. So that if there's any question at all, you have the way and means to get back to the original input source and challenge, in one form or another, any of the reasons why they put them there. That's a way of checking and balancing and reviewing and ensuring that the list you have was correct and at least reasonably based. Something they don't have today, by the way.